And that is the sound that you want to hear. I can't really hear you. The chicken's a little bit loud. Hi guys, it's Melissa. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and today we're going to be making a roasted chicken afritada. Chicken afritada is a Filipino tomato-based stew. It is super similar to this Italian dish called chicken cacciatore. It's got chicken, there's always potatoes, carrots, tomato sauce, and we're actually making it with fish sauce and soy sauce today. Normally when you make chicken afritada, it's like a one-pot kind of stew, but today we're kind of breaking it down by browning the skin so we have a really nice crispy chicken skin, which is like the best part of the dish, and we're gonna roast the veggies separately. But to start with the base, we're gonna make a soffritto. I lived in Florence for almost 5 years, and this is kind of the Italian side of putting what I learned in Italy and applying it to this dish. The rule of thumb for soffritto is 2 parts onion, 1 part carrot, 1 part celery. Cutting strips and then small little cubes. You want to cut everything the same size so that it cooks evenly. So I'm just going to use half of this yellow onion. And then a good trick is to start along the radius, but don't cut all the way to the top. Everything's still attached. And then you're going to get the same size as the carrots and the celery. I'm actually going to add a red bell pepper and some smashed garlic to it. And I've got about 5 cloves here.
How do you say garlic in Italian?
Aglio, and then olive oil is olio. We can speak in Italian if you want, but I'll be really nervous. So we're using chicken thighs with the skin on and the bone in, just because it adds a lot more flavor having the bones in the chicken, and it's just really, really good. So I'm gonna season the skin side of the chicken first, and then I'm gonna flip it around. We're using Johnny's seasoning salt. It's got paprika, garlic, black peppers, and it's just really, really good. So
They should give you a sponsorship.
I'm trying to get a sponsorship from Johnny's seasoning salt, but they don't have an Instagram. And they're based here in Tacoma. So if anyone is watching Johnny's seasoning salt, Musang would love to have you in their restaurant. Cast iron is hot, nice and hot. I'm gonna use some olive oil. Then I'm gonna put it skin side down. And don't be afraid to use your tongs to press down on the chicken skin so it can really evenly color. Okay, just gonna cook it for a couple of minutes on each side. All right, so the other side of the chicken looks like this. You can see how beautiful that color is. And I'm gonna place it in this with the skin side up. Yum. All right, so cast iron is still here. You can see all this kind of wonderful juice that's in the skillet. So I'm gonna take our soffritto, and you wanna hear that sound. And then I'm gonna season it with some Johnny's, just so that we can layer this dish as we go. There's just like a lot of nostalgia in this pan. So I'm gonna add about a cup of chicken stock. Then I'm gonna add a can of diced tomatoes. I'm gonna add 3 bay leaves here. So right now this would be pretty Italian, I think, in the sense, but we're gonna make it Filipino by adding our fish sauce and our silver sun soy sauce. So I'm gonna add about a tablespoon, and then I'm gonna add some fish sauce, which actually in Italy, there's this thing called colatura, and it's anchovies that have been pressed, and then you get this liquid from it. So this would be like the Filipino version of that. It's always important to taste your food. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm actually gonna add the chicken back into the pot now. I'm gonna make sure that the chicken skin isn't covered with the sauce, so that when we pull it out, we're gonna have a really nice, beautiful, crispy chicken skin. Oh God, see how strong I am. Not that strong. While that's cooking, we're actually gonna prep some veggies that you'd normally find in the chicken afritada as well, but we're gonna roast them separately just so we can really get the flavor out of the veggies and they don't get lost in the sauce. So I've got some rainbow carrots here that we're gonna peel. You're gonna cut it and then roll it. Having this kind of surface on the sheet tray will allow for a higher amount of caramelization. So I've got heirloom potatoes here. I'm gonna cut these into quarters so they're kind of the same size as the carrots. Coat it nicely with the oil and then we're gonna hit it with seasoning salt. You can use your hands, you can use a spoon, but it's more fun to do that. You want to make sure that you have ample space on your tray so that everything can get caramelized. So we're gonna roast red bell peppers as well, but we're doing it separately from the potatoes and the carrots because it's a different cooking time. And then I'm gonna pop this in the oven too. All right, now we wait. If I could do a shout out, I was a nanny when I was actually in culinary school in Florence. I nannied these two boys named Leo and Cosimo. And the first video that we did, Leo actually commented on the video and he's a huge fan of Bon Appetit. He's like, I saw your name on the notifications and I almost dropped my phone. And he's like probably 20 now. And when I was his nanny, he was 10 and we would like cook food together and I would cook them Filipino food. So it's just really special to kind of see this full circle of journey. Our 10-minute timer went up and I'm gonna check on the red bell peppers. I think that they're done. So you can see there's a little bit of char. I'm gonna grab a fork and just check the doneness on it. Find a fork. You can see there's a little bit of color on the side and it cuts really easily. It's got a little bit of crunch. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Roasted red bell peppers. Yeah. 20-minute timer just went off for our carrots and our potatoes. You can see here that our carrots and potatoes are perfectly cooked. It's delicious. It still has bite to it. I'm happy. I'm gonna check on the chicken actually too because I think if we've timed everything correctly, that it is ready to come out of the oven. Just be careful because the sauce and like the fat that's come out of the chicken. I have 2 towels just to make sure that I can carry everything safely from here to there. Check out this beautiful chicken skin. I'm actually gonna take out the chicken very carefully. Make sure that you don't get sauce on that chicken skin you worked so hard for. It's tender, it's juicy. It's picked up the flavor of all that tomato. And you can see the sauce has reduced down. It smells so good. You can see that our soffritto, maintained its character in here, and so it's really nice and chunky. For afritada, usually we'll add green peas to the dish. I like to add 2 different types of olives, so I'm gonna add some of these in here. Oops, fly away olive. Dark Kalamata adds this pop of color. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Now the roasted vegetables actually come into play. So I'm gonna add our roasted red bell peppers. And then from here, I'm gonna add our roasted carrots and potatoes. At this moment would be the perfect time to return your chicken thighs back into the dish. It looks like Christmas in a pot. Oh, it's so pretty. This is not our Lola's afritada, but this would be Mel's afritada. I think that they'd still be pretty proud seeing their food plated this way. Not that I'm gonna cry, because that just made me want to cry. Oh man, I just got like hella feels looking at this dish. I think that like as Filipino and Filipinx Americans and Filipino Americans, there's so much for us to be able to share. And there's just like so much of us reclaiming and taking pride in our food, and to be able to look at our food and it be so beautiful, and to be able to share it like this with our elders and our parents and our grandparents. So it's pretty beautiful. So I'm gonna take a bite out of it. Oh man, all right. Chicken skin, meat. Oh, it's so good. Oh, the veggies are perfectly cooked. There's a nice bite to it. The fish sauce you can taste. The tomato has reduced. There's like acidity, there's savoriness, there's sweetness to the vegetables. All that's missing is a bowl of rice. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm just gonna keep eating. It's so good. Elmer!